Okay, let's talk about a few additional structures that are important to, to grasp for this class. If we take a look at a cross-section of a human brain, okay, this is a cut right down the middle, right? So we're looking at just one half of the brain over here. Here's the nose, right? Here's the eye. And, there's the cerebrum right there. You can sort of see the sulci, and the gyri of the cortex in this image as well. Here's our spinal cord. This is an area called the brain stem that we'll talk about in a minute. There's a region right here that's called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is actually linked by a private sort of blood system to a gland that is called the pituitary gland. Hypothalamic nuclei. Remember that nuclei are collections of neurons, right, that are located in the central nervous system. The hypothalamus consists of a whole series of nuclei. And these nuclei are detecting changes that are occurring inside the body, what we call the internal milieu, right, inside the internal environment. There are, for example, neurons that have projections out into the bloodstream that can detect, the presence or absence of particular chemicals. There are neurons that actually will respond if you are low on water content in your body. They'll actually shrink, and it'll turn specialized proteins in such a way that they open sodium channels and they can start to fire, and you'll ultimately get thirsty. There are neurons that detect the presence or absence of different levels of temperature, basically, in your body as well. So these neurons, these hypothalamic nuclei, by sort of sampling the internal environment, generate some pretty basic drives. We're talking about thirst, hunger, sex, warmth, and they can initiate changes in the body. They are then linked up to various systems that can alter the functioning of the body to allow you to address the change, to actually do something to get the body back into balance. And one of the ways they can do this is by initiating changes in that autonomic nervous system. They can increase your heart rate. They can cause you to start to sweat. They can initiate all sorts of sympathetic activation. They can do the reverse. They can actually upregulate, right, increase the activity of the parasympathetic system, and sort of downregulate or decrease the activity of the sympathetic nervous system. They also have direct connections with the pituitary gland, through the bloodstream, but also direct neuronal connections to some glandular cells here that can release various hormones into the bloodstream. Hormones are chemicals that are going to travel through the bloodstream all around the body and will act at receptors and can influence the function of cells via their activity at these receptors. We can have stress hormones. We can have hormones that increase the metabolic rate. We can have hormone sexual behavior, for example. And then we can also have communication between the hypothalamus and the cortex to generate sort of behavioral responses that are adaptive and also allow you to get back into balance.